Hey guys, what's going on? It is David here. We're back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we shall be discussing Fernando Alonso. Now, when it comes to Fernando Alonso, what we talk about today is basically going to be saying that Fernando Alonso will be staying with Aston Martin for the foreseeable future. Now, it was announced, I think, last week that Fernando Alonso did, in fact, sign the contract extension. And the way they announced the contract extension was just kind of weird because they just posted the image saying, "I am here to stay." Then they have Fernando come out in video and say, "Hi, my name is Fernando Alonso. I am here to stay." But hey, I'm happy for my driver. Alonso's my favorite driver. Now, the thing is, I was going to upload a video a couple months ago when Hamilton got announced that he was going to Ferrari, that Alonso could be going to Mercedes. That is not going to be the case. Because coming from Alonso's words himself, Alonso has signed the longest contract extension he has ever signed, one that will keep him at Aston Martin for the foreseeable future. Now, what does this mean? I think that there's a very good chance that Fernando Alonso becomes a team principal. And would Fernando Alonso be a very good principal? Yes, you can see how he is with the young talent. I believe he has his own karting series as well for the young kids out there, I think in Spain or around the world. Fernando Alonso is a very good driver, and I think that if it came down to it, Fernando Alonso would be able to scout out talent to the point where they could have a shot at getting to Formula One in the future. And can you imagine Fernando Alonso being a team principal? And imagine Fernando Alonso being a team principal, meanwhile Lewis Hamilton's still driving for Ferrari. That'd be an interesting thing, because imagine if Fernando Alonso is the principal, right? And one of his drivers gets involved in an incident with Lewis Hamilton, and then Hamilton and Alonso have an interaction, but it's not driver to driver anymore. It's principal to driver. And it's just going to be a very interesting thing. I can honestly see Hamilton not becoming a team principal, but the way Alonso is and the way he is, like the way he acts around the F1 grid, I think that there's a very good chance that either Fernando Alonso becomes a team principal or Sebastian Vettel becomes a team principal, or something to do with Formula One that type of way. And I believe that Fernando Alonso has signed a contract due to one thing and one thing only. I think he's going to get part ownership in the team. I really think that Fernando Alonso is going to get part ownership in Aston Martin. And with Aston Martin going to Honda in 2026, if he signed a 2-year contract extension, that would take him to the regulations and his first year back with Honda since the McLaren Honda days, and we all know what happened there. But if Fernando Alonso did in fact get an ownership stake, I got clap it to Fernando. Getting an ownership stake, considering that Lance Stroll's father, Lawrence Stroll, has a very good, significant amount of money. Fernando Alonso had to be getting paid in order to reject Mercedes and even possibly even Red Bull in better opportunity. But he's looking at the future, but he's looking at this. All right, let's say Aston Martin heads into 2025 with the car that is okay. Fernando Alonso can already get the best out of the car anyway. Look what he's doing at Aston Martin currently right now. Meanwhile, his teammate Lance Stroll isn't doing anything right now. And then it hits 2026 and the regulations. He's going to give it 1 year on the regulations. If things do not work out, I do believe Fernando Alonso will retire from Formula One. I believe that there's a good chance that Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, and Sebastian Vettel, if Sebastian Vettel does come back, they all retire within the space of the 2026 season. Why? Well, they're up there getting an age, and they're all going to want to take at least one more shot at winning a Formula One World Championship. Lewis is trying to win his 8th, Sebastian Vettel is trying to win his 5th, and Fernando Alonso is trying to win his 3rd. If all that doesn't work out for them, if Sebastian Vettel does come back in the 2026 season, I can see them all retiring. But if Sebastian Vettel does come back, I can see Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton retiring in the 2026 season. But in terms of Fernando Alonso staying, I mean, this is a very good thing for him because it obviously keeps him in a place that he's familiar with. And the last time he stayed a long time with the team that he's familiar with, I believe, was McLaren, and before that it was Renault. And we all know how those two worked out, but I don't really think so. I don't really see the way things are going with Aston Martin ending how they ended with McLaren Honda, because I feel like Fernando Alonso, after he spent a couple years out of Formula One, he's like, even though he is old, Fernando is 44 years old. I feel like he's matured in those space of years. And the way you see Fernando Alonso racing on the track now compared to when he was with McLaren Honda, he was still getting the best out of the cars, but he wasn't like he would go at the team he would be like dog crapping the car. He does that kind of for Aston Martin, but not to the point. And I do believe that Fernando Alonso is making the right decision. I really wish I would have saw Fernando Alonso go to Mercedes and possibly even compete against Max Verstappen, but we'll have to see what happens. Fernando Alonso signs the extension with Aston Martin, and I'm excited to see what happens for his future.